So it's all about Adem Somyurek, this Victorian, now ex-Labor Party power broker. His branch stacking and influence within Victorian Labor. So just to show you the hold this power broker has had up until now, I've obtained a series of text messages that he has sent to a senior federal Labor MP last year. Let's have a look. It says, "I'm about to bag you publicly. Return my calls. Unless this thing happens smoothly, I'm going to assume you're causing a problem. You better be not effing around with this." So this was in relation to an internal party matter, Kieran, and I guess it shows the bullying nature of this power broker to a senior federal Labor MP. "Unless this thing happens smoothly, I'm going to assume you're causing a problem. You better be not effing around with this." Well, it's been put to me, this Somyurek affair is less of a problem for Anthony Albanese than some in the Victorian right. Albanese is from the New South Wales left. I guess we've got Bill Shorten from the Victorian right. And while leader of the Labor Party, Shorten flew to Melbourne the day before the Bennelong by-election in 2017 and met with Somyurek and other Victorian right figures about pre-selections and to sort out power in the right faction to help MPs get pre-selected. Well, sources close to Shorten say he just had to deal with Somyurek. That's the way these sort of things had to be ironed out. Now, Anthony Albanese and Daniel Andrews, both from the left of the party. Albanese spoke to Andrews last night and they both agreed Somyurek had to go from the party. And this could lead to a divestment in power in the Victorian right and could help Albanese's deputy Richard Marles and lead the left to take over national executive. That's what Labor people are saying to me today. I understand that Albanese and Richard Marles are set to talk to the National Executive Committee of the party at 5:30 this afternoon concerning what sort of form an investigation into the Victorian branch stacking will take. Now, Somyurek, he was at the heart of a loose alliance of the Victorian right, which was in control of 2/3 of the branch. Let's hear what he told 60 Minutes last night about his influence.
The story at the end of it will be, I'm this powerful guy. That's good for business.
Now, Victorian right sources have told me that Adem Somyurek would be responsible for backing in all Victorian federal right MPs into their pre-selections, except Tim Watts, Richard Marles, Joe Ryan and Rob Mitchell, so the likes of Claire O'Neill and others. Here's a quote I got from Bill Shorten to me today about Adem Somyurek. He condemned the conduct, as Anthony Albanese did. Mr Shorten says, "This is destructive and appalling conduct. It does nothing to advance the cause of working people in this country. No wonder people hate politics when you see people acting in such a self-indulgent way. It's wrong." There's another issue out of all this, Kieran. That's the surveillance on Somyurek, which led to this story. It's been put to me the phone calls recorded are from Somyurek to Anthony Byrne, the Deputy Chair of Parliament Security Committee and a staffer of his. Anthony Byrne hasn't returned my texts on this. Somyurek was branch recruiting to attempt to stop a left stack of Anthony Byrne's branch. Now, a fellow MP to Byrne says he was seeking to stand up to a bully. That's how he's defended Mr Byrne and this surveillance. Scott Morrison didn't have as big a go as he could have in question time on this matter, but he had a go.
That issue raises many questions. Undoubtedly, the Leader of the Opposition will attempt to answer them with the candour that I hope he at least matches what the Victorian Premier has. But, Mr Speaker, the question is, who does he need to be protected from?
No, the Prime Minister will resume his seat.
Let's go back to the text message. You're not bad at getting these confidential text messages, let me say, but this is...
If anyone's got a text they want to give afternoon agenda, we're here for you.
We'll provide your number, yeah. But this one from Somyurek to a senior Labor figure, it shows you how, what's the word? I mean, as you said, bullying, but it's extraordinary, the view of himself that he had within the Labor Party, that he had the gall to send this to a senior federal Labor MP.
This is a state minister. Bear that in mind, a state minister, a state local government minister. The guy's not even treasurer or something, or premier, sending it to a federal Labor MP, a senior one. Everyone will be guessing now who that is. Now it says, "I'm about to bag you publicly. Return my call. Unless this thing happens smoothly, I'm going to assume you're causing a problem. You better be not effing around with this." What language. No wonder there were people in the party who were eager to see the back of this bloke, I guess. It is a bit of shades of Eddie Obeid in New South Wales and that kind of thing that I've seen before, Kieran.
Well, off the back of the Nick McKenzie story on the Nine Network, I've received a number of messages, I'm sure you have as well, of people saying, thank God, good riddance, get rid of this bloke. That's been the general tone of things. Yes, and you wonder how many people knew about the sting, if you'd like to call it that, in the lead-up. Certainly people were relieved when they saw the sting, and I mean, as soon as that story aired, you know his days were numbered, and Daniel Andrews and Anthony Albanese decided the same thing last night. It was then a matter of process. In the end, he's resigned from the Labor Party. But what does this mean in terms of power structures? We've already seen a perception, Kieran, that Anthony Albanese's taken over the New South Wales Party. He's had that investigation by Michael Lavarch, that New South Wales branch. The right wing don't have the influence they once had. Now we've got the prospect of this also occurring in Victoria, and that's where you'll have division. So it's been put to me the two big winners out of this will actually be Dan Andrews and Richard Marles, and I dare say Albanese won't mind that too much as well. Well, Daniel Andrews responded very quickly. Obviously copped a few questions as to why he put this chap back in his cabinet 18 months ago, but the way that he's responded before midday, before lunchtime, the guy had been gone, he was expelled from, was going to be expelled, but he quit, you know, ahead of his expulsion from the ALP. So what happens now in terms of what Daniel Andrews and Anthony Albanese do? Because they have to put something in place to try and deal with this branch stacking issue, don't they? Well, there are concerns this afternoon that essentially they'll be looking at branch stacking by the Victorian right, but not branch stacking by the Victorian left. And, you know, stacking often occurs as a response to other stacking. And let's not be naive about this. This sort of thing happens all the time. People paying memberships and that sort of thing. It doesn't usually happen with a minister. You don't normally see a minister paying memberships, but unfortunately, you know, in my time covering politics, you've heard a lot of stories of lay members of the party perhaps acting for an MP, but there's no proof of that, actually signing up people and paying the bill. If they're ever found out, they get kicked out, but often they're not found out. But, you know, it's just his language, the way he was saying something, that he was two-thirds in charge of the Victorian right, and it's been put to me by Victorian right sources today that that is true. That's very concerning and similar to the Obeid and Tripodi situation in New South Wales, which has hurt New South Wales Labor ever since. So Daniel Andrews, I guess it's to his advantage that he's from the left. He can try and make out he doesn't owe this guy anything. He's got to keep on that narrative. But if he tries to clean things up, there might be some retribution down the track too if there's a perception that it's unfair in terms of the cleaning. Well, we knew the impact or the power that this individual had over the state last night with that report. Today, this text message from you gives us this, or from Somyurek that you've obtained, gives us a sense of how he felt that his power was much broader than the Victorian border. Yeah, and obviously I've obtained it because people are keen to let me know that they weren't in any sort of thrall to Somyurek, and he had a temperament problem, and he pretty much went around threatening and bullying everyone. So the suggestion is that no one's really sad to see him go at this point, Kieran.